And we welcome you once again to Buffs Prime Time. We're here at the Champions Center. Our show is brought to us by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Visit aflac.com to learn more. Buffs coming off a heartbreaking loss, 31-28 to K-State last weekend. Now they're heading down to Tucson, Arizona to take on the Wildcats. That's a 2 o'clock game on Saturday afternoon, Mountain Time. We'll hit there at noon on the network. We've got the head coach alongside. Also, Brett Bartolone is going to join us, and Sav'ell Smalls. We'll be talking some tight ends here in the second half of the program. Well, first off, we got to get to that new top here, man. That's is that new merchandise right there? Oh, Shannon, you got them on there?
Don't know why not.
Check. It worked during the test. Hand them the wireless microphone. Let's do that real quick.
Sorry.
Reed, go ahead and run on over there. We'll get Coach. It was working moments ago, and we got Gremlins in it as the Buffs get ready to take on Arizona.
There we go.
There we go. Now we got Coach on. There we go.
Got you.
Yeah, I'm liking that new. You walked in. It's the first thing I saw. Look at that.
Yeah, one thing that we did too. This university has been so good to me. They have allowed that for other vendors to get involved.
Okay.
You know, people that we knew prior to that made some wonderful colors and accessorized some things. So this is, I think, one from their collection.
Man, brand new stuff. Look at that. That's going to be a hot seller, no doubt about that. All right, last week, Kansas State comes to town. Heck of a ball game. Heck of a comeback.
Yeah, but you don't want to be in that situation where you have to come back, especially at home. You want to take care of the necessities that you need to take care of, especially a running game, a semblance of a running game to take some pressure off too. But I love the way the young men fought back. I love the way they finished strong, never gave up, and I never seen quit or lack of hope in their eyes. They really felt bad afterwards, like we lost one we should have won.
Right. Yeah. Right. In the postgame, you said something along those lines. You said give full credit to Kansas State, right?
Most definitely.
They got the W, but there's a hollow feeling with that ball game.
It was. Some games, you go to Nebraska, you get your butt kicked. That is what it is. That's it. You didn't have a chance. You lost decisively. But that game right there was one of those ones you lost it, but you felt like we should have won that game. Yeah. So that it lasted a little longer. It's not just over when the game's over or that Sunday. You take that with you, and then you try your best to flush it on Monday, and you come back to work on Tuesday.
You're talking about flushing it. Easier to teach and help guys understand after a game like that, or harder after kind of a heartbreaking one?
Easier. It's easier. It's always hard to teach when you lose anything in life, but it's good. It's good fertile ground for teaching and going back over certain plays. And it's always stupid little things, man. I mean,
sure it is.
Dumbest little things. You're like, oh, my God, how many times did we go over that, So hats off to the coaches, too. They put us in some great situations, and they coach their butts off.
Is that one of the things maybe that a lot of people don't understand about the game of football, Prime, is how intricate everything is?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, the thing, I remember playing for the Cowboys way back in the day, and anytime we lost, you read all the bull junk they wrote the next day.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out saying, you know what, I want to watch film inside the stadium when the stadium is full. Because I want everybody to see what really transpired.
Yes, yeah.
Because I was never one to blame a coach in my life. I don't, coaches ain't playing.
Yeah.
They prepare you, they get you prepared, and you go out there and execute and do the job. But the coach can't make this guy do this. Or the coach can't. You could call plays and try to set people up for the best positions. But I remember as a pro in Texas at the Cowboys, I wanted to watch the game tape in front of everybody so they could see.
Is that what sets apart a great player from a good player, is those little tiny things?
Those little tiny things in the way you work, in the way you practice, because you're always on 10. No one should have to coach your effort. I can see the intricate details of the game and certain things we do, but your effort. And oftentimes when you're not where you're supposed to be or doing something, it's lack of effort.
The Buffs come back in that ball game. I was saying on our broadcast, I've come to expect it, right? When the offense runs back out there, number two's got the ball.
Yeah.
You just figure a play's going to happen, right? And you guys were able to fight back and then give up a long touchdown drive.
Yeah, but you can't. It wasn't that. It was the little things getting to that.
Okay.
You know, it was the little wheel pass out of the backfield. It was, the next run
Yes.
play. Okay,
Yep.
now you got you second and 10. You're thinking down and distance. You should be thinking down and distance. Okay, they're gonna take a shot because all they had was a deep ball or a running play. You can't run right there. You don't want to run and milk the clock.
That's right.
So as a defensive back, you're thinking you should be thinking, and they're gonna take a shot.
Yeah. When you have a play like the throw down the right-hand side where there's contact and there's no flag, what do you do post-game with something like that?
Nothing. It is what it is. I mean, you can't fault the officials because they've done the best that they can do. And 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, they're right.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you make a question something, but you can see it the other way as well.
Yeah.
I never fault officials, coaches. When I played the game, it was us, man.
Did you guys turn that into the league and kind of get explanation?
Oh, yeah. What are they going to do?
What
do you think it's going to make me feel better to get a letter that said, "Hey, we missed that one"? Man, please, this is over. I don't want to continue with that foolishness. What they going to do?
Right, I understand.
Right.
I understand. Running game. Why did that rear its ugly head again?
Physicality is just a want-to. It's just a flat-out want-to. Yeah. You have to have the state of mind that you want to do this. You're going to do this. You're going to whoop the guy in front of you, and that's it. Yeah. That's the mentality that you want. That's the mentality that Phil has. That's the mentality that Pat has. That's the mentality that we all have. We just got to have that mentality inserted in each young man. It could be 4 of those guys could block their butts off on one play. Then one. It's just one. And that's why it's not successful. Because you can't just say, oh, this guy. I mean, they are fighting their butts off to do the job that we ask them to do, but it's always offensively or defensively, as well as the opposing team.
Yeah.
One guy could blow it off.
Right. You played on some great running teams, like with the Cowboys. That was a great running team.
Yeah, but you got 5 darn linemen there that was shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, that was all Pro Bowlers.
That's right.
All pros. I mean, it was the thought process. This is what we're going to do, and we're trying to get to that point.
So it's that.
They have all 5 to say, we're going to do this.
Yeah. You know, Bill McCartney had a great line years ago. He always used to say oh, my goodness. He was talking about the mental aspect and the strength of mental aspect. And he said basically the mental aspect is 4 times more important than the physical.
Right.
You believe that? That
I don't know about
right?
4 times. I don't know about 4 times.
Right.
Mental, you got to believe. That's my motto. You know that.
Yeah.
You got to believe. But also, it takes the physicality of a guy to dominate that guy in front of him.
Sure.
Yeah.
The injury bug hits you guys in that ball game, and you know it's amazing how it hits one position group like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, Travis goes down, and Jimmy goes down, and Amarion goes down, and Terrell goes down. The worst of those appears to be Amarion Miller.
Yeah. He's out. Timmons is gone. He's not gone, but he's out this week as well. But we're gonna get prayerfully all the other guys back. But it's tough. It's tough when you send your offense out there with that three of the starters at the receiver. That's tough, and you start thinking not 3 of the starters, but one of them is a cornerback. So now you're thinking you don't get that deep ball.
That's right.
You don't get that deep ball if he's out there because you don't even throw it that way.
That's
so
exactly
now
right.
you could be creative to say, okay, we can make it lean over the other side because we ain't worried about that. So those are the type of things, but you can't fault that. I think they had several players go down consecutively. Now I don't know if they were hurt or not, but
that was
did.
a fascinating moment in time, wasn't it?
It was funny to me. I thought it was really brilliant.
The level of coincidence was startling.
I thought it was brilliant. I really thought it was brilliant. I was just started laughing. It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
For a guy like Omarion or Terrell Timmons, when they go down, that's tough on a young man when all of a sudden the season ends. You guys got to kind of coax those guys a little bit, don't you?
You pray like you pray that that's not the case. It's not a season-ending injury.
Right.
But these are kids, man. They start thinking about future. They start thinking about a lot of things they shouldn't be thinking about instead of just, what, this is it. That's happened. Let me deal with it mentally, psychologically, spiritually. I'm going to work my butt off to get back when I can, when I'm available, when I'm able to. But I'm going to be okay.
You were blessed enough not to have a season-ending injury in your career.
Right.
But you saw guys, and you can see how they can struggle, right, when that's taken away from you.
Yeah, I didn't have a season-ending injury, but I had 10 injuries that required surgery when I played. But I do understand that it's devastating to some, especially if it's a career ending. You got some that I've seen career-ending injuries.
Yeah. do you encourage like the players to make sure that they're kind of gathering?
They
those
do
guys
that
in?
anyway.
Do they?
I don't have to.
Yeah.
These guys are. It's truly a family atmosphere. It's truly one guy's gonna pick up the other. And it does not take injury to happen for these guys to be like that. They're like that anyway. And I'm proud of the staff that encourages them to have the family type atmosphere that we have.
And that's part of the messaging for you guys, right? To what you're trying to build, the culture you're trying to create for those guys.
And we are. We're doing a good job of it, I feel.
Buffalo's on the road this week. They're going to take on Arizona down in Tucson. Luckily, it's not going to be a real hot day down there. In fact, they're talking temps in the 70s on a Saturday afternoon as the Buffs will take on the Wildcats. More with Coach Prime after a quick break. It's Buffs Prime Time, and this is Colorado football from their field. Hey, at CU, we're always asking every Coloradan a simple question. What do you love about Colorado? So I'll go first. Horseback riding, fly fishing, two of my things. Now it's your turn. Tell us what you love at lovecolorado.com. Go there and tell. Coach, what do you love about
The
Colorado?
weather,
Uh-huh.
our fan base, this campus. Only thing I wish we had better
Right?
food.
Food?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get down to the city much and go check out the restaurants down there?
No, you don't go
Okay.
nowhere.
Right.
I'm here all the time. I sleep here all the time.
Right.
I don't.
All right.
I mean, but I'm from the South. You know,
Yes.
I'm used to that Southern type
Sure.
cuisine. You know,
Well,
I'm a
geographically.
home cook. You know, I'm a home cook guy.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm from the South, but
Different-
that's the only thing.
that-
Everything else is a home run.
That Southern culture hasn't really bled
And the
up here that
prices of
much.
the homes,
Well,
that's another thing. And apartments, and because my kids are hitting me for that too. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
I understand. Hey, you mentioned crowds. How about that crowd on Saturday night?
How about our crowd anytime?
Yes.
Not only here,
Yeah.
everywhere we go.
When we're on the road and everything.
What about when we were at UCF?
Yeah, fantastic.
The whole stadium stands behind us. Seemed like it was us.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. Yeah.
It's unbelievable everywhere we go. And I'm pretty sure it's a sellout this week.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm pretty certain.
But last weekend, it was like the fourth largest crowd in the history of
Wow.
our stadium. And, I mean, not a person left until the end of that ball game.
All right.
They're getting their money's worth on those tickets, I think.
They're a little upset this time. But
Yeah, they were. No doubt about that. How's the team kind of been reacting in practice this week? I mean, how your practices been? Do you feel good about things?
yeah, I feel really good. They respond tremendously. More so than anything, the coaches respond, and the coaches hold players accountable. And it's my job to hold coaches accountable.
Sure.
So the players respond. But you have to give them some serious thoughts. Like seniors, it's 6 more games.
Mhm.
What are you gonna do with your life? Like it's go time. Because I don't know if you make plans for without football, or what plans are you making? Because if it's with football, it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
I mean, turn it on 100%.
It comes up on you pretty quick all of a sudden.
Yes,
The end
yes.
is
And I don't
here.
think many of them really fathom that, to really understand. Like when you leave here, where you gonna stay?
Right. What's
You know, what check? What resources you're gonna use to pay for things that you've been paying for?
Yep.
Because you know. Chef is in there doing a great job 3 times a day. That's not going to happen.
No one's laying out your
Nobody-
schedule
nobody's
anymore.
doing that, yeah. It's not going to happen. Yeah. You got hot tubs and jacuzzis and you get rubbed on in the training room. That
right.
stuff is not going to happen.
No, it's all a different world. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, it's all you now. Hey, I thought Shiloh handled himself on Tuesday in the press conference
Yeah,
about as well as
he
you
did a
possibly
good job.
could, didn't he?
You know what? The thing about Shiloh is he's that one kid that I have. I don't worry about him.
Is that right?
You know why? Because he's mentally and physically tough. And if people really look at his career, this is the first time that we've seen Shiloh vulnerable.
Yes.
Not knocking somebody's head off or going up there blowing somebody up. And we knew why. I mean, everybody don't know why, but we knew why. But I'm proud of him. But he's the kid that I don't worry about. I know what I'm going to get this game.
Yeah.
I know he's going to bring it. I know he's going to be there. We've never had any doubt to how he plays.
I don't know how that develops, but there are some people you can coach hard or discipline hard, and they respond to that. Others, maybe you have to massage it a little bit.
Yeah, Shiloh's not. Shiloh, you can coach him any kind of way you want, but I don't care what outside noise says. He's going to be Shiloh, and he's going to do what he's has the ability to do. He don't flinch when it comes to noise, but I'm glad it transpired because he got an opportunity to see who everyone is.
Sure.
And I always tell him, I say, son, people love you based on what you give them,
Yes.
not just based on love. People ain't like that anymore in life. You know, we don't.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
people knocked on your door and brought you some sugar. You borrowed some frosted flakes or whatever you needed. It was that way.
Right.
It ain't like that no more.
No.
They try to rob you, not bring you nothing. You know?
Well, he essentially said that. He said, I know everyone's been critical this week. If I play well next week, they'll be back on board.
Yeah,
He understands
yeah,
that.
but he know they'll be back on board, but not really for him.
Yes.
See, he thought once upon a time that people really love you because they love you.
It's
No,
superficial.
No, it's based on what you supply for them.
Yeah.
I always try to teach my kids that it's not based on love. It's based on what how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you appreciate your circle,
Yeah.
if you will. Right?
Yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett Bartolone is going to come in here for a moment. I know you really are a big fan
That's
of his.
my
aren't you?
man.
Yeah.
I love him. I can remember first time we conversated, and I said, I'm looking for an OC, not just a guy that thinks he's an OC, but a guy that knows he's an OC. And we did the conversation on the phone, and of course I had Ray and Shador on the phone because you really want your quarterback to get along with your OC, so you involve him in the conversations. And he knocked it out of the park, came down to Jackson, out of his comfort zone. I think he drove down like the next day, and the rest is history. He set some high standards at Jackson State and was dialing it up, man, and he knows what he's doing. I'm proud of him.
You just said something there that I don't think the average person picked up how profound that was.
Yeah.
And that is not somebody that thinks he's an OC, but somebody that knows
he's
that,
OC.
That's an enormous – I learned that very early in the broadcasting career. That's a big difference.
Yeah, you know who else is on the squad like that? Vincent Dancy's like that.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was a phenomenal DC at Mississippi Valley, and that's why I wanted him aboard, because I know the problems he gave us, and I know the problems that he gave the SWAC when he was coaching, and he was phenomenal. Not a lot of resources to work with, not a lot of players to work with. I mean, and the facilities that he dealt with, he not only was he washing the uniforms, drying the uniforms, mowing the grass, he was doing everything, and he stood the test of time, and that's why I had to have him on the staff.
Is it important to have strong voices like that on his staff, so there are a lot of strong opinions within those rooms?
Well, you try your best to attract what you are, and I feel like I'm that guy that way, so I want to attract like-minded people, because all you got when you thinking about the positions, the disconnect is the kid, not the coach. Because if the coach is on the right plane, like say Phil Lodeholt, the kids don't have to guess what type of player they want. Just look at your coach and how he coaches and how he teaches.
Yeah.
Defensive lineman, you don't have to guess. Look at your two D-line coaches. That's what they want. That's who they are. Yeah. And the same thing with Brett on the tight ends and Jay Field and with the receivers and so forth. You just look at those coaches and their personalities and how they go about it. That's what we want.
You know this. Societally, a strong voice can be a little off-putting to some people. The world of athletics, though, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have that strength within there.
Yeah, it's very important. We don't care about the output. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care about outside noise. We could care less about it. First of all, with me, it's going to always be outside noise. You know that.
Yes.
So we really don't care about that. We just care about what we have and what we're doing, and to get these kids to another level on and off the field.
Sav'ell Smalls is going to join us, too, since we're talking the tight end position. There's an interesting story. Seattle kid, goes to Washington, defensive player. Now you've got him at tight end.
Right. Well, getting the reps at his position that he wanted to play was going to be a task. And we saw that he was an athlete. He was very athletic, very strong, very smart, intelligent, and that he could make that adjustment. And he has. He's physical. He's not soft by any means. He could catch the ball, does what you ask him to do, and he don't take days off. So we're proud of him.
What are your thoughts about Arizona? So this is a team that's been up and down this season a little bit, but talented.
Yeah, but very talented. The quarterback is one of the elite quarterbacks, I feel like, in the Big 12. The receiver arguably could be the best receiver in college football.
He's awful good.
mean, he has the size, he has the speed, he has the hand-eye coordination. He has it. They get after it on the defensive side of the ball. They can run the ball effectively, but that little quarterback is special. He really is special. You got some big guys up front. The two things that we really want to do, if we don't do nothing else, let's stop the run and let's protect that quarterback. If we do nothing else, let's just do those two things. Right. Of course, we want to run the football. Yeah. You know, of course, we don't want to give up explosions. Of course, we want to do certain things. But if we don't do nothing, let's stop the run and protect that quarterback.
That is a truism. I don't care what level of football you're playing at, isn't it?
Especially with us. Yeah. If we could do those two, when we do those two things successfully, we'll win the football game.
Yeah. How much, we're talking about the running game earlier, how much of an emphasis is it one of those things, Prime, where you want to emphasize to these guys to make them understand it, but you don't want to just continue to hammer them about it?
No, it's hammered every week, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah, right.
It's MC hammered every week. Hammered is an understatement. It's an understatement of how much. And it's not like we just turn off the faucet to turn off the fountain because there's no water coming out of there. We want to do it. We want to do it. We want to do it. But then you sit up there and okay, now you get that going. It's like, hey, we're not going to sacrifice that for that, okay? We're going to get that when we can, but right now he's feeling it. I had no idea the kid was, 35 for – at one point, 35 for 41. He ended up
Yep.
I didn't know that because I'm watching the game and I'm into
Right.
the game. I'm not keeping up with no darn
Oh, no.
stats.
He was on a roll
But
there for a while.
we don't know that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
So, when people like, you got to run the ball, well, this is working too, right? We want to run the football. I think Pat started off one of the meetings this week, but we will run the football. I
Yeah.
mean, when your OC is consistently talking about that as well as your line goes, Phil don't play. Phil, I'm telling you, Phil is phenomenal, man.
Is it really?
Yeah. The offensive staff, they're phenomenal. Brett knows how bad we want to run the ball.
When
I was just bragging on you about a great coordinator you were.
He was.
Yeah.
Saying good things.
The first meeting, you packed up the car and drove down there like 2 days later, right? Yeah, he left straight to the hood. We didn't really tell him he was going to the hood.
Right, he didn't know.
Because he might have turned around on the way there. So we didn't tell him until he got. See, I know he was driving, looking around like, this cannot be it.
Where is Prime bringing me right now?
Oh, my God. Yeah. But I tell you what, man, just seeing him on the sideline doing this thing and the joy that he had, because it got to the point where it was like PlayStation at the end. He was just having a ball, dialing it up, man.
You mentioned Phil Lodeholt and the way he coaches. When you're around him, when you see him, he's such a even keel guy. It almost defies the energy you're talking about. No. Coaches are laughing over there.
We had recruits in last week and some great recruits.
Yeah.
And every time we have a recruit meeting, I tell the recruits, look, this guy you see right here, he is not the guy you're going to see when grass get up under his shoes. As long as the carpet is up under his shoes, he's great. He's fine. Low maintenance, even keel guy will not raise his voice, but as soon as grass gets up under his shoes,
walk inside the line.
He's a different man.
Different kid.
I think all of us are like that.
I think there's something about that. Yeah, that's what made you guys great as players.
Yeah.
Hey, before we move, you decided to shave apparently.
Yep, and I got criticized for that too.
Did you really?
They say I cost us a game by shaving. like my facial hair had a lot to do with the game.
So are you growing it back then, or
no? I just don't feel like during the week. I don't feel like it.
I get it.
Everybody here know what I look like. I don't have to impress you. You know me. You don't care about what I look like. You are what I say.
I wanted to start with the shirt and then with the facial hair. So we're hey, good luck this weekend. All right.
Thank you. A lot of boots too, by the way.
All right, I appreciate it. That's Coach Prime. He and the Buffaloes have got the Wildcats of Arizona on Saturday. The aforementioned Brett Bartolone. We're going to find out more about that trip down to Jackson on the other side of the break here. This is Colorado football from Learfield. University of Colorado football is brought to us by Eco Products. Every stadium generates some food waste on game days, but thanks in part to certified compostable packaging from Boulder-based Eco Products, the dedicated team at Folsom Field is able to turn a lot of that food and packaging. It comes in into compost instead. Eco Products, proud once again to be the official zero-waste partner of the Buffaloes. Back at the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson. We thank Coach Prime for coming by. Now Brett Bartolone joining us. And we got so much to talk about here. I thought we just talked about tight ends, but I got to hear more about this story and the culture shock you had and getting the phone call to come down to Jackson and all that.
Oh, I got a few of them. I got a few stories for you.
Yeah?
So we got time.
So when you first got the call, where were you? Kind of set the scene for us.
I was in Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
And so, at the time I was interviewing with Coach Prime to go to Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
But I was also at the end of my time there in Reno at the University of Nevada, and we were about to make the transition to Colorado State. So
Okay.
I knew I was either going to Colorado State or I was going to get hired by Coach Prime.
Okay.
And I had all my stuff packed and had all my stuff packed in Reno. Had the car packed up, and I was just waiting on a phone call, really. And I was like, all right, once I hear back from Coach Prime, I know I'm either going to head to Fort Collins or I'm heading to Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And I finally got the call, and then boom, I got the call in the afternoon, and I left at 5 a.m. the next morning.
And so you're driving into Jackson, and as Brian was walking out here, I was kind of joking with you about the culture shock. What's going through your head as you kind of rolled on in there?
No, I mean it's just at any new place you go, there's new experiences, and like for me, I grew up in Southern California.
Yeah.
North Orange County. Like I've never even lived in the South, or really, I lived in upstate New York on the East Coast for like a year, but I had never really been to
Where were you at in upstate?
a place called Canton, New York.
Oh yeah,
St. Lawrence University.
There you
Man.
go,
I mean,
okay.
you're like just south of the Canadian border.
I was in Syracuse. You're way up there, yeah.
The North Country.
That's right.
And so, but no, I drove out to Jackson, Mississippi, and we were there for about a year. And I mean, I had countless experiences that I will never forget in a very positive manner. And I think I grew a lot as a human being just from being there.
With your involvement with Mike Norvell, that kind of always added a new wrinkle the last couple of years with the CSU game.
Oh, you're talking about with Jay?
Yeah, I said Mike, did I? Different coach, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Another
exactly.
Norvell.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I was with them for 2 years at the University of Nevada. So yeah, it's always been interesting.
You in Prime said something to me during the commercial break. He said, Shadur's had 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years.
Right.
Tell us something we don't know about number 2 that makes him special.
He's never seen. Oh, that makes him special.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you, like, he's never watched Star Wars or something like that.
Well, he's never watched Star Wars?
No, he hasn't.
Well, that's something he and I have in common. How about that?
Yeah. We've had discussions about that. He's, I mean, and you guys probably know this because you see it, but he's one of the smartest QBs I've been around, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he understands what defenses are trying to do to him. He understands scheme. He understands coverage. He understands what the offensive line should be doing. He's really got a grasp of the whole offense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like a lot of the redirecting and the changing that you may see on a Saturday, a lot that's coming from him, right? And that's that's got to do with his preparation during the week. He's just got a really, really high football IQ. He really does, and he gets better and better and smarter every single year.
At Jackson, was that your first OC position?
Yeah, well, technically, I was a Division III coordinator at Carleton College in Northfield, Minnesota for 2 years.
I know where that is.
And so at the Division I level, yes.
Okay, so you come in there essentially a newbie to that position.
Sure.
Having a quarterback that sees the game like that, is that an intimidating thing? Is it a comforting thing? How do you view something like
it's
that?
very comforting.
Is it comforting?
It's very comforting. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, and just part of my job as the guy calling plays for a really good quarterback, like I just got to make sure we're simply on the same page.
Yeah.
And he's involved in the game plan. He's got a say in it, and we're going to do things overall as a team, as a unit that we're really good at. And he's got to have a say in that too. We're not going to run anything that he's uncomfortable with. Right.
Yeah, exactly. As the tight ends coach here, how much are you're obviously focused on the tight ends, but how much in terms of the overall offense right now with Pat Shermer and the rest of the staff? How much say do you have at this point?
I think it's a collective effort. I mean, we sit down in there, every week, and we take a look at the defense, and we throw ideas out there. So it's always as a collective group. And then on game days, I'm the eyes, right? And so I'm up in the box, and I'm always just giving input, right, mostly on what the defense is doing and my thoughts and all that, giving feedback at halftime. But I think the entire staff on offense does a really good job giving feedback and giving their thoughts. And, we come up with a plan, and now it's on us throughout the week to detail that plan for our players so we could execute it to the best of our ability on Saturday.
What role does the tight end have in this system?
We do a little bit of everything. I tell the guys every day, man, like, bring your work boots, bring your lunch pail, man, and your hard hat. We're going to work, and I don't care what the job is. I don't care what the task is. Whatever they tell us to do, we got to do it. Whatever the scheme dictates that week, that's what we're going to do to help this team win. So that may include blocking in the run game, blocking DNs, right, left. That may include inserting on a backer in a certain counter scheme or zone scheme. That may include being in on protection and chipping DNs, running flat routes, running over the ball routes. There's a variety of things that we may do, and it doesn't just stop on offense too. Like, we all have roles on special teams, so we're all very involved in special teams. The tight end position must be involved on special teams, and I think our group is doing a really good job in that role.
We get Sav'ell Smalls coming up here. He's going to join us for our player segment. He's just off camera right now. Tell us something about him. Tell us a little bit about him as a player and what he's become as a tight end, since he was a defensive guy when he got here.
Yeah, he is extremely coachable.
Mm-hmm.
He's extremely coachable, and he's hungry to learn, and he's hungry to work. I mean, he's done everything that I could have asked him to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, making the transition.
Nope. There, we got a little headset problem. Go ahead and grab that one right there. Grab that. Yeah, use that.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now we got you.
Okay.
Now we got you. We got a bad headset or something. Yeah.
You're right. Going from D end to tight end, obviously that's a different transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's handled it extremely well. So everything that I've asked him to do since day one, he does it. And if we make a correction on tape, you usually see it corrected the next day. And he's trying to do the things that I ask him to do. And, some of the movements up front are a little different, right? It's different techniques. And tight end, it's one of those positions where it's very technical, and you got to be really smart, and there's got to be a level of awareness to it, right?
Yeah.
And I think he gets better and better every single week. And I think he's really embraced the position.
When he made the transition, did you notice right away he had the hands?
I didn't.
Okay,
not right away. Not right away.
He's smiling over there right now.
Just simply because I didn't. No offense, dog. No, just because I didn't know. I mean, you don't know he's capable of catching until, like, we go out there in spring ball. We start doing some of these things, and he's getting out there. He's running routes, and it's like, God dang, he can catch the ball. And so I didn't know that immediately. And catching the football is a skill. And again, he's put a lot of time and effort into catching the football. So he's one of those guys, right, where, like, after practice, he's going to be out there catching footballs, or, like, on an off day, he's going to be catching footballs. He's going to be doing something to improve his hands. Obviously, that's a skill that you got to have at the position.
This weekend, we head down to Tucson for that game at 2 o'clock Mountain Time on Sunday or Saturday afternoon. I beg your pardon. What are we going to see defensively from this Arizona team? You look at the numbers and you go, okay, well, there's solid numbers out there. Teams don't throw the ball all that much against them. But tell me what you see in Arizona.
Well, they're a defense that's really similar to ours, and anytime, like, you go into a game plan, you got to say, okay, like, what is their overall scheme, right? Like, what do they base out of, right? Like, they're a 4-down team, right? They're a 4-4 team, meaning they're going to play middle close defense more times than not. But how are they going to change their scheme or manipulate their scheme to match our guys on the perimeter or our guys up front, right? So it's like, on tape, you see a lot of tight coverage on the outside with these guys. Well, against us, maybe we'll get a little softer version, if that makes sense. So you always try and just mix and match. Okay, what have they been doing, and then how are they going to react to us based off what we've done in the last 6 weeks? But they're going to be a tough unit. They're going to be physical up front. They're going to play well in the back end. They're going to play sound in the back end, and they're well coached.
What would you say, being here year 1 to year 2 under Prime's leadership now, what would you say is a difference here in 2024 from 23?
We're a much more disciplined team.
Right.
I think we're a much more disciplined team, and I think you have a bunch of guys, offense, defense, and special teams, that care about each other and play really hard for each other. Yeah. I think this is a much more mentally tougher team than we had last year. We get hit in the mouth and we respond, right? We don't shy away from adversity. We embrace it, and we're going to continue to do that for the second half of the season.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. All right, you got any instruction for Sav'ell when he comes over?
Nah, he's smart. He can handle it.
He's nodding his head over there. All right. Hey, Brett, good luck this weekend.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, Brett Bartolone, he's the tight ends coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. He'll take on Arizona on Saturday at 2 o'clock. Again, we're going to hit the air at 12 noon on the pregame show. Gary Barnett, Bobby Pasavento, and I. Our program today is brought to us by the Hilton's on Canyon. Coming to Boulder for game day. Stay at the Hilton's on Canyon, a proud hotel partner of the Buffaloes. The aforementioned Sav'ell Smalls is going to join us tight end during our player segment. After a quick break, this is Colorado football from their field. Back one final time on Buffs Prime Time, presented by Aflac. Get help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Visit Aflac.com to learn more. Time for our player segment. The aforementioned Sav'ell Smalls joining us, tight end for the Buffaloes out of Seattle, Washington. Former defensive end, now the tight end side. Welcome. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you. Appreciate you for having me.
You bet. Okay, take us inside the locker room, right? Tough loss the other night.
Yeah.
What's going on inside the locker room right now with you guys?
Right now, we're just trying to bounce back.
Yeah.
Obviously, 24-hour rule after, Sunday at whatever time, you played the day before. You got to move on and get on to next week and start watching film. So, obviously, that one stung, but, it's a lot of games left, a lot of season left. We had plans before the season that are still possible. So,
Sure.
Just moved on, and we hungry to get a win, It's a pivotal week, obviously, with the way the Big 12 is set up. So, we know we got to go down to Tucson and do.
This is a confident football team, the way you guys play. So when one gets away from you, right, doesn't seem to shake you guys at all, correct?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I feel like we got a lot of dudes who are kind of older, too. Obviously, we got
Sure.
freshmen like Draylon and Jordan playing. But I feel like we got a lot of dudes who've been in college football for 4 or 5 years, like myself, So we know about the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs of college football, So we just got to get back to the drawing board, get back to, installing and get back to executing.
How did you get here to Colorado? So you're a Seattle kid. You played your first couple of years for Washington. How did you get here? Yeah.
Went to Washington, committed to Coach Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
He retired, played for Coach Slake for COVID season, which was 4 games, and then we went 4-8. And then Coach DeBoer came in, went 11-2, went to Alamo Bowl. That was a very fun year.
Mm-hmm.
And just having discussions with my coaches, just wasn't some things that were aligning. So I decided I needed a fresh start in my future. And Coach Prime had everything jumping over here in Boulder, all the excitement, I took one visit. It's the only visit I took. Boulder is beautiful, like I said. Kind of reminds me of Seattle sometimes. Took my whole family out here. They loved it. So I was like, let's go.
You said Coach Prime's got things jumping. Is that kind of the view of players around the country that, man, there's something going on there in Boulder we need to be part of?
I mean, for sure. Like I said, I went to Washington. We went to Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
And then they went to National Championship, while I was over here last year. But just the excitement and the buzz and just the feeling, especially running out in Folsom. You got Kevin Durant, you got Carmelo Anthony. Just
Right.
It doesn't compare at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a totally different atmosphere.
For sure.
Hey, making that transition then from defensive end to tight end, tell me about that decision.
Well, last year I redshirted. I had hurt my knee a little bit, a couple weeks, nothing major, but I was going to miss a couple games. I was just like, I just don't know how the season going to turn out, so I went ahead and redshirted like a couple guys have did this year, And I knew I wanted to stay here regardless. I didn't want to leave. I don't want to move again. I don't want to transfer again. That wasn't part of my plan, so I said, I'm a redshirt and put my head down and try to make it happen. And then a couple coaches on the staff was like, hey, what about, offense? What about tight end? You played offense in high school. What do you think about that? And my answer to that question every time was, I just want to get on the field. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm more capable than what I've shown in my college career. I've had, kind of glimpse here and there, making a play or two, but I feel like I could do more on a consistent level, on a consistent basis. And playing football, I've always felt better when I'm able to get in a rhythm, not just play 2 plays, get took out 2 plays, I'm able to be on the field more. So I said that's all the opportunity I want. So if it's offense, defense, special teams, whatever it is, that's what I want.
Okay.
And, yeah, that's how I approached it.
All right. And these leading receivers at tight end so far this season for that group on the team. Tell me about your family a little bit. You come from a big family, a lot of brothers and sisters. What's the story back in the Emerald?
I have a lot of family I don't know about,
Yeah.
in a couple of different places like Louisiana, Ohio. But,
Okay.
I'm
Spread all over?
Yeah, spread all over.
Yeah.
And, I've met some of them, haven't met some of them. But I got a good amount of family in Washington. But when it comes to my intermediate families, my mother, Sophia, my father, Joseph.
Okay.
I got 2 little brothers, Sav'ell and Sincere. And, that's our unit.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. What do you teach those younger brothers, huh?
My younger brother, he's 12, Sincere. He's playing football right now.
Okay.
He just started a couple years ago. So I'm just telling him, you just got to have fun right now. Just have fun.
There you go.
And just always work hard. And my other brother, Sav'ell, I just tell him to be confident in everything he does. Obviously everybody's different. So, I always just try to tell him, be confident, walk with your chin up, all that. Yeah.
Love it. Well, fantastic. I tell you what, we're wrapping up here. I want you to go to have a big game against Arizona. Let's get a win down here. What do you
Yes,
say?
sir, for sure. Let's go get it.
All right, let's hear for Sav'ell Smalls. He and the Buffaloes will take on Arizona, 2 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday. We'll hit the air at 12 noon with the Buffalo Stampede pregame show. Coach Gary Barnett, Bobby Pasavento, and yours truly. We thank Sav'ell. We thank Brett Bartoloni and Coach Prime. This has been Colorado Football from Learfield.